Hello and welcome to Yorkshire Voice at 4 o'clock. I'm Alex Smith, and coming up on the show, find out how much more we're spending on our groceries.
So, I feel like obviously not just with Marks and Spencers, but all supermarkets and shops and prices of everything's just gone up. So, I feel like our customers are quite understanding when they're coming shopping and things have increased in price. Obviously, as I've just said, everywhere's gone up.
And what do you think this was used for in the 1840s? Well, find out about Leeds Civic Trust's plans to transform it later in the show. But first, Labour Party leader Sir Keir Starmer has revealed plans promising to halve knife crime in Yorkshire. West Yorkshire recorded over 2,000 serious offences involving a knife or sharp object last year. This includes the death of 17-year-old student TJ Jordan Gangata, who you may remember was reported as stabbed at a house party in the Armley area of Leeds just over a week ago. Starmer has said if his party gets into power, he will put workers in schools and A&E departments to prevent knife crime by targeting children and young people early on. And residents in Leeds say they would welcome action to tackle the issue.
Honestly, for me, it doesn't really affect me day-to-day basis. I don't really see it a lot in the streets. I hear about the odd thing in some areas, but it doesn't really affect me in my area now.
I think it's really scary for youngsters to be out, and I think it affects everyone and the families especially, and the trust, letting your kids go out on the street.
No, I think that kids that feel they need to protect themselves, they carry knives.
Well, we can now cross to our reporter Elizabeth King, who is here in the studio with Dr. Javid Bashir, a lecturer in policing who also works to improve community cohesion.
Hi, and thank you for joining me today. So, how badly does knife crime affect communities in West Yorkshire?
Well, there is a serious problem of knife crimes and gun crimes as well. I mean, there has been a number of people got attacked in the community, and so there is a problem out there. And it all depends on how the Labour Party is going to tackle this now. You see.
Yeah, and do you think the Labour Party's plans to halve knife crime in Yorkshire are realistic?
They're promising. I mean, realistic, obviously, we need education at the grassroots levels. We need to start from very early age and also talk to parents, talk to the community, talk to children about the potential dangers of knife crime, and also taking the the communities in confidence as well. So whether, I mean, they're realistic, we have to wait and see how realistic they are.
And why do you think knife crime has increased so much?
Well, there's been an increase in drugs, and obviously some of the cases which actually are connected with knife crimes are drugs related, gangs related, and social and economic deprivation in the area. So I think it's going to have multiple effects, you see, and like I said, there's no one single reason for it, but there's a number of reasons why they're obviously having an effect.
And how can people spread awareness for knife crime?
Well, through education, through working with the communities, working with the churches, working with faith institutions, the mosques, the temples, gurdwaras, churches, and anywhere and everywhere in the community to make sure that we live in a safe environment.
So you say in education, do you think it should be taught in schools and safety about knife crime?
Yes, I mean it should be taught from schools the danger it can bring to somebody's life and how we can protect children and young people from using the knife crime and also the supporting the victims as well. So to make sure they're actually reporting these to appropriate institutions as well.
And how quickly do you think Keir Starmer's plans will come into place?
Well, like I said, I mean, he needs to come in government first.
Yeah.
And at the moment, you see, the polls are suggesting there's nowhere near at the moment coming in the government. So I think that, whoever is in the government, they need to start work on it straight away, basically. And, we don't have to wait for Keir Starmer to come in the government and start this. But, we have expect this to the existing government to start work on it straight away, basically.
Perfect. And thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, and back to you in the studio, Alex.
Thank you for that, Elizabeth. A 17-year-old boy who went missing 2 days ago has been found. Ty Fulford was last seen on Monday in Bradford. He's now been found safe and well. Grocery price inflation has hit another high, adding a potential £837 to annual household bills. Shoppers are going to multiple supermarkets to hunt for bargains. MJ Binns has this report.
Last month's vegetable shortage seemed to have little effect on people other than them wondering when stock was going to be back in. I spoke to Megan Larkin, manager at Simply Food Guiseley in Leeds, about how this had an impact on her store.
So I feel like obviously not just with Marks and Spencer's but all supermarkets and shops and prices of everything's just gone up. So I feel like our customers are quite understanding when they're coming shopping and things have increased in price. Obviously, as I've just said, everywhere's gone up, so they're kind of expecting it while they're coming. So I don't feel like prices have gone up massively. For example, we've got some Italian meals that used to be on a 3 for £7 deal, which are now on a 3 for £8 deal. So obviously that's gone up £1. Your things like your milk, your butter, your eggs, your bread have gone up maybe 10-15 pence. So customers are noticing that products like that have gone up, but only slightly. But then if you think once you've got a whole shop and you've got a whole trolley full, it...
I went out into Leeds and asked people what they thought about the shortages.
Oh, well, it's huge. Everything's affecting the cost of living. Yeah, people are really struggling, and everything has just got more and more expensive. But it's kind of, I think that's a global thing, and I hate to say it, but I think it's also a Brexit thing.
Every time you're trying to buy something is an extra whatever, fizz a pound. I mean, I bought a chorizo. It used to be £2, and now it's £3 for the same thing.
Well, I think it just means we've cut back on stuff that maybe that's not completely necessary, so we don't go out as much. And we've kind of not got any holidays booked this year, partly because we've got a new baby, but also we're using that money that maybe we would have spent on holidays, spending it on stuff like groceries, but also childcare and bills and all the rest of it.
A restaurant in Keighley is celebrating its 25th anniversary. Shimla Spice in South Street was founded by 3 brothers and is now run by the 2nd generation of the family. Elizabeth King has this report.
Faisal Hussain, manager of Shimla Spice, spoke with me about their anniversary of the restaurant and how the restaurant is still a family-run business 25 years later.
Yeah, it's amazing. We've been here for 25 years and really overwhelmed.
And obviously you've been open for 25 years and I can see that you've won a lot of awards. What sort of awards have you won in those 25 years?
Well, I think there's over maybe 30, 40, 50 awards possibly that we've won.
Shimla Spice is an award-winning restaurant with 3 locations you can visit. I asked Faisal what is key to making a restaurant this successful.
Consistency with the food and consistency of the service. When somebody comes to visit our homes, we'll lay a food or table, we'll treat them like royalty. So when you give that level of service to a customer in a restaurant, the experience is phenomenal and they'll return.
The staff at Shimla Spice are heavily involved with the schools, local community, charities in and around Keighley and also internationally.
Now, a historic structure in the Headingley area of Leeds, which, believe it or not, used to be a bear pit in Victorian times, is set to reopen to the public by the end of this year. It was once part of the Leeds Zoological and Botanical Gardens, but fell into disrepair, and Leeds Civic Trust now hopes to restore and open it, complete with a bear statue. I went down to the bear pit to find out about the renovation plans. If you have ever driven past this structure in Headingley, you may have wondered what it was. Well, it is hoped that it will become a brand new green space in the area. Martin Hamilton from the Leeds Civic Trust explains some of the history behind it.
For about 30 years you had to pay to come here, so there was an entry fee, 6 pence for adults, 4 pence for children. But it never really took off as an attraction because they basically built up a lot of debt. They never made enough money to make it pay. And it was all right for the middle classes, they could afford to pay, but actually working people, that was actually quite a lot of money at the time to pay, and so they ended up, I'm afraid, having to close the whole thing.
Martin is also keen to ensure that the public can be educated on the improvement in animal welfare since the structure was initially built.
If we do have a model of a bear or some representation of a bear in the middle of the pit, that will really be about remembering what happened, not celebrating it, not saying wasn't this great, but more about, haven't we moved on from those eras? Isn't animal welfare much better now than it was then?
It is hoped the bear pit can be fully restored and open to the public by the end of the year. A student-led performance of drama and art featuring a gallery of student and community-produced pictures is opening tonight at the Stage at Leeds venue. Company manager Sophie Parry told us all about it.
The performance is a core module as part of our degree, so we have to take it. But as part of it, you're encouraged to create a public performance and to just add a little bit of kind of professionalism and things like that. We decided to actually create a theatre group, which we came up with Existence Theatre Group, because we like the idea of our performances being evolved around archives and kind of historical figures and things like that. The Dash was created, we started in November planning it. We're a team of 9 students, so quite a small group to be running a full-scale performance. But the Dash is about an obituarist who receives a painting, not sure where it's come from or who painted it. So it's kind of discovering her life through a series of flashbacks scaling from 1940s to the 1970s. Her basically trying to figure out what this painting is, and you kind of figure out love along the way and stuff like that. Some of specifically the LGBTQ+ themes, it's so important in today's society, especially with some of the laws that are passing in the US at the minute and some that have been trying to be got through in the government in the UK. And it was a big thing in the 1940s, 50s, 60s with particularly gay people's lives being, well, not free. So we're kind of, that's why it's relevant to today, but then also just love, conflict, we've got a duality going on there. Just kind of entertaining but at the same time educational.
Now, onto the weather. What's it been doing out there, Mia?
Well, it's been a mainly cloudy day today with outbreaks of rain throughout the day, but mild with temperatures up to 15 degrees. Tonight you can expect more rain throughout the evening, and it might even get quite heavy at some times, but temperatures will dip to 7 degrees. Tomorrow it'll be mild with some sunny outbreaks, but there will be isolated showers. In some areas, it will get heavy at times. Temperatures will be back up to 15 degrees. Looking ahead to the weekend, unfortunately, it isn't good news, so keep your brollies ready because there'll be rain throughout the weekend to Sunday. And that's a look at the weather for today. Back to you in the studio.
Cheers, Mia. Well, I was quite hoping to have to keep my brolly at home this weekend. But thank you for joining us today. We're back tomorrow at 4, so make sure you come back and join us again. If you want to hear more from us in the meantime, head over to our social media pages on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. That's all from us now. Goodbye.